calving advanced rapidly over the last week. The latest state report, which was released on Monday, showed calving was 74% complete. The task obviously became more difficult for farmers and ranchers who received snow this week. We talked with Rick Rasby before the precipitation moved in to talk about record keeping during calving and the overall condition of cows in the state.
You know, March was a little cold, and we aren't used to having March being that cold, but I think for the most part we got through that in pretty good shape. You know, for as dry as it was last fall, and we ran cattle on corn stalks we had a good grazing season on corn stalks. For the most part, I think cows are in really good body condition during this calving season.
That was maybe the one saving grace, huh? That you didn't get a foot of snow that covered up that cornfield?
You know, it was. I know that some folks would want some moisture, but boy, that really saved us because with a shortage of hay, it was going to be expensive to get cows through the winter.
So as you're still in calving or wrapping up calving, what are some of the records that you should be maybe taking an eye at or keeping as you go through that season?
Well, I think the ones that you think about most often is, you know, you record calf sex and weight, but the other thing that you'd want to record is calf birth date, and that can really help you, especially after you get through calving season, to do some calculations that I think are pretty important to take a look at herd productivity.
Anything to keep in mind with the cow as well, other than the calf?
Yeah, the cow and the calf go together, and you know that cow's supposed to do a good job of raising that calf, and so you really want to monitor her as well. And you think about calving date, that goes into how you might calculate calving distribution, which is an important number to get at.
Tell me why it's important.
Well, you think about you're going to sell calves at the end, and if you get more of those cows to calve during that first 21 days of the calving season, at a fixed weaning date, those cows that calve early are going to wean off heavier calves. And so the idea is to get the majority of the cows to calve during that first 21 days as compared to the second 21 days as compared to the third 21 days. And the more that you can get up into that first 21 days, I think gives you a good indication of really how well you've managed those cows, especially from a nutrition standpoint.
So what all goes into calculating that? I mean, how difficult is it to try and get them, you know, out first and on the feed right away?
Well, you think about the calculation. The calculation's pretty easy. When do you start that first 21-day cycle, if you will? Well, it can be done two ways. One is when the third mature cow calves. That would be when you start that 21-day calving cycle, and or the distribution. Or if you can just basically take 285, add that on to the date that you started the breeding season. That would be when you start that 21-day calving interval.
What else, Rick? Anything we missed?
You know, I think the idea is that when you think about that, the more cows that you calve in that first 21 days as compared to the second and the third, you know, that becomes pretty important because what you sell is pounds of calf at the end, and so the more cows that you calve the first 21 days, hopefully the heavier the weaning weight you have to sell at weaning time.